The huge yellow machine moved forward slowly on wheels that were twice the height of the men watching. Like some prehistoric monster, it growled softly as the powerful engine hauled more than 200 tons of rock and dirt and precious ore out of the mine pit. The machine turned towards the railhead and the skeletal iron gantries silhouetted against the brilliant blue outback sky. Inside the air-conditioned cab, the hands on the wheel seemed far too small to control such a gigantic and powerful machine, but they were steady, giving no indication of the driver's nervousness or the importance of the next couple of minutes. The watchers on the ground followed at a safe distance as the truck crossed those last few meters and finally came to rest next to the railhead. Inside the cab, the driver turned off the engine and waited with bated breath. One of the watchers stepped closer to the vehicle, peered closely at the precise placement of the wheels in relation to the railhead, then stepped back and looked up at the cab. He raised one arm, his thumb pointed skywards, and a ragged cheer broke out from the men around him. From her place so far above them, Tia Walsh couldn't hear the cheer, but she saw that thumbs up. She had done it. An unfamiliar feeling swept through her, pride at her accomplishment. It was such a very long time since she had felt pride in anything. It was an unlikely job she had chosen, driving a huge caterpillar truck in an open-cut mine, but that only made this moment all the sweeter. She had trained and now passed the test. She was something and somewhere she'd never expected to be, somewhere no one would ever think to look for her. Rising from her seat, she opened the cab door and quickly descended the metal steps before jumping the last distance to the ground. Her steel-tipped safety boots raised a small puff of red dust as she landed. "Well done, Walsh. That's it. You're one of us now. Welcome to the Gungala Mine team." Mine manager Chris Powell held out his hand as a small collection of drivers behind him gave another cheer. The drivers were all clad in protective clothing, hard hats and safety boots, day-glow yellow vests, and heavy cotton long trousers. They were even wearing long-sleeved shirts, despite the heat. Safety was paramount at the mine, and to a man they adhered to the rules. To a woman, too, Tia was quite happy to wear all that safety gear. It couldn't disguise the fact that she was the only woman in the crowd, but it did help her to blend in. She wished they weren't making such a fuss. The mine, they said, was a community as much as it was a job. Tia didn't really care. She didn't want to be part of a community. She'd been part of something like that once before and never wanted to repeat the experience. She just wanted to do her job and be left alone. She hated being the center of so much attention. She shook the manager's offered hand. "Thanks." Powell beamed and nodded, then stepped back as Tia's fellow drivers crowded around to shake her hand. She did her best to accept the congratulations with good grace, but she was beginning to feel trapped. "So, everyone who is off shift, the first round at the mine site is on me." Blue, Tia's instructor and the mine's senior driver, received his own cheer for that offer. "Not for me, thanks," Tia said quickly. "What?" The other drivers were starting to move in the direction of the mine gates, but Blue held back. "You've got to come. It's tradition when someone passes the test." "Thanks, but no thanks." "Tia." She knew that tone and immediately shook her head. She had been waiting for this, and she was going to set the record straight right now. Hopefully Blue would pass it on to the rest of the men. "As I said, thanks, but no thanks." They both knew she wasn't talking about beer. Her instructor shrugged. "Fair enough. No harm in asking." "See you tomorrow." They parted company, Blue heading towards the pub and Tia towards the accommodation compound that she now called home.